Hey guys, this is the first video on my new channel, and on my first video, I think I want to do a video on choosing your first system, or your or the system you want to collect for. There's so many different video game consoles, from consoles to handhelds. There's just so much. I can't go over each one, of course, but I picked out quite a good chunk of them, or at least the popular ones, and well, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it, and if it's suited for you. So I'm gonna be telling you if this is telling you different things about the console. If you decide you want to buy it, then you can buy it. So this is just a video that I'm gonna be telling you a little bit about different consoles, so you can decide on which one you want to buy. Okay, so if you're a little bit low on budget, and you want something really nice with a lot of great games on it, that's old, or you grew up within your childhood, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Hey, those games are not expensive at all. Some of them are, but you can find like a lot of You can find a lot of 30 games for like $40, or 30 games for $30. Not that expensive at all, because it was such a huge success. A lot of great Mario games. Come on, who doesn't like Mario? There's Legends of Zelda. There's Contra. Anything you can want is on the system. There's also the Atari 2600. That's a great one too. Because the graphics are so primitive, you had to like use your imagination. But Atari and Nintendo Entertainment System, great, cheap, easy to come by, affordable systems that are great consoles to add to your collection. Okay, the next couple I'm sure you've all heard of, but that's the Super Nintendo and the N64. If you want a console that has a huge fan base, and a lot of amazing games, you need to go with the Super Nintendo or the N64. That can be a bad thing though, because finding some like Super Nintendo games complete in box, that is like physically impossible. Same with the N64, unless you grew up in the time period where these were coming out and held on to all the boxes. It is very, very hard to get complete in box Super Nintendo, N64, any console for that matter, other than like the Xbox or the Wii or the DS. A lot of the older ones are really, really hard to come by complete in box. But Super Nintendo, you got some of the best games ever made. Same with N64. Just, if you're a Nintendo fan and you want a console that everybody plays, and you can get a good conversation started about it, then the Super Nintendo or the N64 is definitely one to get. Even if you don't have any friends that play them, there's just so many great games. The next ones are based on particularly one genre. So if you're like into one genre, like for the PlayStation 1, if you're a huge RPG fan, the PlayStation 1 pretty much is RPG only. Now, that's not entirely true, because there's some racing games too, but there's so many great RPGs. I'm not like a die-hard RPG fan, but some of the games on the system just looked awesome to me. So, I looked up gameplay, and I was just like blown away by how great some of the games were. If you're into platformers, hey, go with the Sega Genesis. A lot of people grew up with this one as well, but come on, who doesn't like Mario or Sonic? Who doesn't like all these platforming characters? They're just a very great console to collect for. There's a lot of great racing games too, but some of the best platformers we've seen to this day were released on the Genesis. And the next one for one particular genre is the Vectrex. I'm pretty sure most people haven't even heard of this system, but it was released in like 1982. It didn't have a huge fan base, wasn't a huge success, but if you were a big shoot 'em up fan, this is like the shoot 'em up system. There wasn't a whole lot of games released, but almost all the games released were like shoot 'em ups. So but keep in mind, I'm pretty sure the games are black and white. They might be color though. I have to do my research on that, but just look up the Vectrix on the Wikipedia, and look up different games. There's a lot of great shoot 'em ups. So I like shoot 'em ups, and it's also relatively kind of hard to get. Very uncommon system, very collectible. And that leads me to my next console I picked out. The Atari Jaguar, one of the most underrated consoles of all time. Everybody says it's so horrible because it wasn't 64-bit. Yeah, that may be true, but there's a lot of great exclusive games. I don't have time to talk about them all. I might do like an Atari Jaguar collecting guide or something, but there's just so many great exclusive games. Finding these games complete in box is a bit of a challenge, but if you want a challenge to try and find games complete in box on eBay, you really have to go hunting for them. The Atari Jaguar is a really good bet for an uncommon console that not many people talk about. So, if you like that kind of stuff, then go with the Atari Jaguar. The next couple, I'm pretty sure most people have heard of the Game Boy and the Game Boy Advanced. Hey, bunch of great games on those handhelds. Some of the best handhelds there are. The reason I put this on there is because if you're gonna try to find Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games complete in box, it's some of the hardest systems to collect for. It's very unfortunate. The original Game Boy, the original Game Boy, finding games complete in box is just so hard. I mean, even if like a retro video game store has games complete box, they're just so expensive. Because a lot of people for Christmas when they got Game Boy games, not many kids kept the cardboard boxes. I mean, yeah, kids keep the boxes for the DS, but that's because they weren't cardboard. It took up a lot of space, and most of the kids just ditched the cardboard boxes and kept the game cartridge. So very, very hard to find. Game Boy games and Game Boy Advance games complete in box, very, very hard. So if you're looking for a definite challenge when it comes to collecting Game Boy Advance, plus their great handheld system. And you don't always have to collect complete in box too. It sure looks way better on a shelf than just putting little loose Game Boy games on a shelf, but you gotta keep cost in consideration. Okay, and the last one I'm gonna talk about is a very wide variety of system. Any modern systems. So you don't have to always be into retro games. I mean, just because you like modern games doesn't mean just because everybody collects retro doesn't mean you have to collect retro too. If you don't really want to, and you're more of like a Xbox One, Xbox 360 type of guy, you can just collect for the system you already have. Just find good deals and build up your collection that way. Doesn't always have to be retro. You can go with the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 3, the Wii, the Wii U, the Nintendo DS, just anything current. It doesn't always have to be retro. So, hopefully that gave you a decent idea on what to look for when collecting anything from retro to modern. You can really collect anything you want in video games. That's the best part about it. Any system you like, you don't have to feel pressured to buy a certain system because someone says it's really awesome. Do your research, and hopefully this video helped you. So yeah, that's a collecting guide for different consoles. See you later.